The People's Democratic Party lawmakers in the National Assembly say they have uncovered a plot to shift election at the National Executive Committee meeting holding this Thursday to August to allow the acting chairman Umar Damagum to retain his position and elect all Progressives Congress members as executives of state chapters. The spokesperson of the group, that's Ikenga Imo Ugochinyere, told journalists this Thursday that with the withdrawal of the suspended chairman Iyorchia Ayu's pending litigations, all legal hurdles to the emergence of a new PDP chairman at today's NEC meeting have been removed. However, he said that they received intelligence reports of an alleged plan to give Damagum a soft landing up to August 2024, and by so doing elect APC members as PDP state executive in over 19 states.
In other news, the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, has resisted arrest by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission at his Abuja residence. The former governor's resistance follows separate court orders issuing a warrant for his arrest and a counter order restraining the EFCC from arresting or harassing him. Arise News security correspondent Ferdinand Durowa reports.
It's Benghazi Street here, though not in Libya, but in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. But like it was in the North African capital, during the country's uprising, there are different security operatives brandishing high-caliber automatic rifles here in a bid to arrest the former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello at his Abuja residence. Some of them are operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, who have come to effect a Federal High Court Abuja order for the arrest of the former governor. The EFCC stormed the premises of the former governor at about 9:30 a.m. but was resisted by his aides. But Bello's aides insist that there is a substantive judgment by a Kogi State High Court earlier on the same day restraining the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission from harassing, detaining or prosecuting the former governor. Also on ground are some supporters of the former governor who have come to show solidarity. The situation becomes chaotic upon the arrival of the Kogi State Governor, Usman Ododo, whose aides demand that the EFCC gives him access to the building. The governor's presence clearly swings the tide in favor of his predecessor. The EFCC officials are seen making calls, perhaps to get instructions whether to move in. The calls lead to some reinforcements, but obviously not enough to match that of the sitting governor or Bello's aides. Hours later, at about 4:15 p.m., the Kogi State Governor is seen leaving the building. Attempts to get a clearer view to ascertain if the governor was alone in the car or is with the former governor Yahaya Bello was unsuccessful due to the tinted windows on the governor's car and the huge security presence. There is an obvious look of defeat on the faces of the EFCC officials who refuse to speak to the media on the state of affairs. Minutes later, the EFCC operatives are seen departing the vicinity, perhaps thinking the target might have found a way to exit the premises or in a bid to re-strategize due to the conflicting court orders. Some supporters of the former governor also speak with the media.
I expected that the EFCC should not be too desperate. They don't have a vested interest. They are not expected to have a personal interest in a state matter, because the matter at stake here is a state matter. That's how I see it, and I think that is the right thing to do.
I am not sure. I am not sure those guys are from EFCC, because there is a subsisting court order. I am sure they have regard for rule of law, and I don't think they are above the law. So I have my doubt, I have my reservation. Maybe they are not from EFCC.
The remaining operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission just leaving the streets of Benghazi here in Wuse Zone 4 without the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. Well, the EFCC have put out no official statement on why they wanted to execute an arrest today, or perhaps why they have decided to leave without the former governor. However, we expect that in the next coming hours or perhaps days, the true relationship or perhaps the real reasons for these actions today will be made clear to the public. From the streets of Benghazi, here in Wuse Zone 4, Ferdinand Duroha, Arise News.
Excellent report from our correspondent there. Well, with us in studio is Arise News analyst Dash Shobwale, who will review what happened yesterday in Abuja regarding this saga and the need for observance of decorum and respect for the rule of law by all parties involved as the case plays out in court. Good afternoon, Mr. Shobwale. Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure of being as usual.
Of course. And now with the sitting governor of Kogi State arriving, it put a real twist on that. I'm wondering how you think he can effectively navigate this situation and ensure that the state government remains neutral and does not necessarily interfere with the EFCC's investigation while also protecting the interests of the Kogi State residents and citizens.
The Kogi State governor has shown clearly that the Kogi State government is not neutral in the matter, because he literally made the escape of the person the FCC was seeking, made it possible. We all saw it. They could not ascertain who was in the car with the darkened glasses, but the reports in the news said he whisked them away. That's our own rule of law at play. The law says a man is presumed innocent until proven otherwise. And this Yahaya Bello supposed to appear in court today, and they arrested him yesterday. There are two...
They attempted to arrest him.
They attempted to arrest. They failed to arrest him. Okay, you see, there have been two cases on this matter, given conflicting judgments or injunctions, asking the FCC not to arrest him and asking the FCC to take him to court today. Well, I don't want to jump the gun. I don't know if anybody has any news whether he has been to court. I try to find out if the case has been in court. But I think what the FCC was trying to do is to make sure they take him physically with them today. And they have failed in that. Why they should want to take him physically to court, I will not know. But what I have seen, I will say it is our own rule of law at play. I won't say it is a miscarriage of justice, but I will say it is the very ugly face of the way we practice our own rule of law. See the large crowd in front of the building. See the way the FCC people came to arrest him. I think you see that the prospect of violence erupting is very high there. The FCC has power to arrest people, but I don't think the FCC has the power to violently arrest people, because that's against the rule of law. Now, that is aside, on the FCC side. Then on the side of Yahaya Bello and the incumbent governor of Kogi State, they say the governor has no such right to go and whisk away somebody, a law enforcement agency, acting within its legal capacity, somebody they are trying to arrest. And the way that has been done is a shameful way for us to practice a rule of law. Now, you see, in other climes, they will say already, Bello has said is a victim. It's a victim of misuse of power by the EFCC. But I wouldn't look at it that way. Incidentally, it belongs to the same party with the ruling party. It belongs to the same party. If it had been like Trump's case in the US, you are saying that the Biden government is weaponizing FBI against it. Now, nobody can say that the president or the government is weaponizing FBI against, because they are from the same party. The only silver lining in the cloud there is that both the person the EFCC is trying to arrest and the government of the day are in the same party. So in a way, you can say no, we can side with the EFCC in saying no, they will deal with anybody, no matter whose ox is God. This is okay. I give the EFCC pass mark for the courage and the audacity, but I do not like the violent way they want to affect the other, because it can backfire. Because the man has the ADSS people guarding him, he has policemen guarding him. If you open fire on each other, that is no longer the rule of law.
So who do we hold responsible for the charade that transpired yesterday? Because you have the EFCC on one part, the judiciary with two conflicting orders from the different courts, and then of course you have the sitting governor who came in to intervene in the situation. If we are to hold somebody responsible for the ridicule, if I may call it that, of our justice system, or rather, it's not even our justice system, the ridicule of our the way we do things that we saw yesterday at display. Who do we hold?
No, you cannot. Why do you need to hold anybody responsible?
It's a conversation.
That's what I just expressed.
So you
now.
say EFCC.
You see, EFCC have narrated what they did and what I thought was wrong. And I'm talking about the scenario in the country. And the fact that this man belongs to the same party. So why do you, this is a scenario unfolding. You don't have to hold somebody responsible yet.
Of course we do. That's why we're here as journalists, to hold people accountable.
Who will you hold responsible?
Well, I'm not the one in the hot seat, Mr.
I'm
Shobole.
telling you,
I'm telling
you cannot hold anybody responsible, because it's an unfolding situation. It's a very ugly side of our own rule of law. Please listen when I talk before you ask your question.
So it's
Please.
too soon. So what you're saying, let's clarify.
Look, at the end of the day,
too soon.
it is the court of law that will decide. But the court.
So what happens when the two courts involved in the matter are conflicting? Then which courts do we respect?
Now, like in Ganduje's case in Kano, the APC has written to the body responsible for the disciplining of judges. Yes. You don't know what will happen in this too. It's an unfolding case. It's not the matter of holding anybody responsible. You get me? This is even unpredictable. And in our system, it is the law, the judiciary, that interprets the Constitution. So you can't hold anybody responsible as at this point in time. So let's face it, this is an unfolding scenario. And we are under the rule of law. I called it drama the other time because I thought it was a one-off thing. But now it is becoming pervasive. Kano and now Kogi State. But it is the nature of our democracy. It is happening in the US too. Who is holding anybody responsible? They have so many charges against Trump. And it is contested.
For the state. As the fourth estate, thankfully we can ask questions and try to get answers. Mr. Shobole, we have to round up our segments now.
Informed questions, please.
Informed questions. Well, that's a subjective term.